JSB discusses 9 agendas. Health service a major concern in Bakoidu. And bridge link dire need for Green River.
This is National EMTV News with Helen Seah.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for Sunday's news. 9 agendas in total are listed on the joint communique following the joint supervisory body meeting between the Papua New Guinea and the autonomous Bougainville governments. They include the outcome of the Bougainville referendum, Bougainville economic investment and summit and taxation.
The first joint JSB meeting, co-chaired by Prime Minister James Marape and the ABG President Ismail Toroama, sets the platform for a new era of dialogue that will lead towards the independence of the autonomous region. The JSB meeting concluded with a joint statement. On the part of the PNG government, Prime Minister James Marape says his government is committed to support the Bougainville government.
Clearly outlaid some outstanding issues that would have been addressed 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 years, 3 years ago. We would have addressed, in fact, in 2020, some of these issues, but COVID-19 as well as politics of Waigani got in the way, and our JSB was delayed and activities were delayed into this JSB, and we now have tasked our technical working committee, for instance, to ensure there is a Bougainville Economic and Investment Summit that should take place sometimes before the first half of this year. We're working to ensure that full shares of Bougainville Copper Limited that is already been agreed will now be transferred to Bougainville Mining Company. We've also agreed that fisheries and also forestry, that was not explicitly mentioned in this JSB, but fisheries, forestry and all other revenue-making measures that Bougainville must have be fully detached and transferred.
The JSB meeting in Arawa reached the following resolutions: joint communique on the outcome of the referendum, Bougainville Economic and Investment Summit, transfer of shares from BCL to Bougainville's Minerals Limited, fisheries, taxation, national government SME funding, foreign mission offices in Bougainville, financial issues and the next steps on the joint consultation process. Each agenda carefully pointing out steps that needed to be taken in support of the ABG's call for independence.
My government and the people, thank you so much, Honorable Prime Minister. This is one of those first steps forward that we have taken, and there is another big challenge that is coming ahead. And with trust and confidence that we have built in the last 24 years, it's progressing quite well. And I'm solely and I'm confident whatever happens on the outcome of the consultation will reflect the joint efforts that we have stated together.
Thekla Gunga, National EMTV News.
Meanwhile, the National Fisheries Authority under the Ministry for Fisheries and Marine Resources presented a cheque of 5 million kina as fisheries grants on behalf of the national government to the Bougainville government. The national government through NFA continues to provide annual funding of 5 million kina as an interim arrangement to the Bougainville government. These funds will be used towards the implementation of activities anticipated under the Fisheries MOU with ABG. The MOU addresses critical fisheries capacity building issues that need to be addressed to provide an efficient and effective transfer of fisheries powers and functions to ABG. This includes the establishment of Bougainville Fisheries Management Authority, development of fisheries management plans, licensing policy, fisheries data for ABG and other related activities. The Fisheries Minister also handed over keys for a duplex accommodation funded and built by NFA in Buka Town that will support the needs of the ABG fisheries officers. NFA is working towards developing the regulations of the Act and other implementation requirements. Health service is a major concern in Bakoidu, Kuni LLG in the Karuku-Hiri district of Central Province. The number of people dying from curable diseases increases every year. With the bad road condition, most times the aid post does not have enough supplies to cater for all patients. People seeking medical assistance walk 5 to 10 kilometers to the nearest aid post.
Bakoidu, a community in Kuni LLG in the Karuku-Hiri district, suffers from lack of basic services and infrastructures. Health has been a major concern for the people of Bakoidu for a very long time. Those seeking medical assistance walk kilometers to get treatments and medical supplies.
Before we plug at health center, now all changing, all boats lo health centers, health center all changing, health center blom plan all kisim go down lo kubuna. Now all calling health center blom plan 8 post now. O sem na lo disla time plus kisim heavy lo house sick. Marasin sa plus sort lo marasin sample time or plenty man may die.
Due to bad road condition, there has been shortage of medical supplies from the health center. Ligori Feva, on behalf of the people, expressed their need for health service and infrastructural development.
Now I'm hard. All get a marin sa kam lo kubuna na sa brukim lo kubuna na salim. Lo mpla ligli kam ya. Plakisim lo 1 month, scale lo 1 month and by finish.
The small health center puts in effort to at least treat patients coming in daily. The issue that they're facing mostly is the shortage of medical supplies to cater for the increasing population of Bakoidu.
We only find problem on our medical supplies. You have already seen the condition of the road. It's good, it's bad sometimes, especially the Kubuna Bridge. When there's floods and rainy weathers, when the road is not in a good condition, vehicles cannot bring the supplies up, so I still have to keep waiting.
Bakoidu and other rural areas within PNG must have basic services as it is in the Hebron. Esther Thailam, National EMTV News.
The Kubuna Bridge in Karuku-Hiri district between Kubuna and Bakoidu has been damaged for so long since its collapse in 2018 and has not been fixed. This bridge connects 2 districts, Golala and Karuku-Hiri. Meanwhile, Kubuna Bridge cannot be accessed by vehicle or foot during rainy season, as this area is in the mountainous region and rain is experienced daily. Medical and school supplies are often delivered a month late due to the Kubuna River flooding. Locals urge that the Kubuna Bridge needs to be redeveloped to make it safer and easier for the 2 districts to get services across.
Photos of the bridge and snapshots and whatever reports were written about that bridge, nothing was done. Nothing to this date. Yes, there were few casualties during times of flood when trucks crashed into the river. People, their cargoes were washed away by the flood when trucks tried to cross the river. Things like that happen. People's food, things and everything between us were washed away. Yet, nothing was done in those so many years. Until just recently, when I think the Governor Abu Garube went that way up to Tapini and saw that bridge.
About 30,000 people from Green River Station have been cut off from Vanimo town since 2019. The only bridge linking the station, the Dio Bridge, collapsed that year, affecting the station's economic opportunities. The Vanimo Green District Development Authority this year has committed 1 million kina to rebuild the bridge and is also calling for support from the Provincial and Works Department.
This is Waradio. It supports life along its banks but can be very treacherous. With the rainy season all throughout the country, the people here are also feeling the pinch, especially at this time when school starts. When this river spills its bank with an angry current running through, no man can negotiate with it. Those brave enough get on dugout canoes powered by outboard motors. It is a risky move, but they don't have a choice. This has been the case since April of 2019, when continuous flooding had eroded the riverbanks and caused a huge tree to fall onto the bridge, completely destroying it. After a year of struggling across the bridge, the people are calling for the government to build a new bridge as many lives have been lost trying to cross the river and the prices of goods and services have skyrocketed.
Next load 50 kena. Na em kosti mi plamat tu mas lepai mas santi na buy money, pwede money kena buy car and this la.
Kono taon tol sa yusi kano. No nga narap laro. Kano taso ro sa yusi la transport. Kaya si online kare aya kam mo sa drogo block kago block upside bridge. Nor block isti kago lo side kam lo side.
Kano nga bros na tanim no?
Kano tanim mo ko tas to goods block sa godan lo ara. Em no kad na mas tausen lo lusi le expen lo. All cargo yan bogwante wala.
Split travel 100 kina from Emblo passenger run, but higher 1,500. So very expensive.
The bridge is currently the only missing link from Green River Station to Vanimo Town, the capital of West Sepik Province. Driving from Vanimo Town to Waradio takes about 4 to 5 hours and another 30 minutes into Green River Station. But without the bridge, it is now a common sight to see villagers with cargoes walking another 2 or 3 hours to get to the station. But good news for the people, as the member for Vanimo Green and opposition leader Belden Nama said this year his district has put forward 1 million kina to start building a new bridge. He himself had to cross Waradio in a canoe, experiencing the difficulties and risks the villagers go through. Nama said this is a national highway and is calling on the provincial and national works department to help with funding support to build a new bridge.
Works finish now, put him some cost together, and then soon by me make him submission go along works department and maybe national planning. Only can look long, find him some money, to help me build him slab bridge. Now me got tintin too long, sing out long donor agencies. Suppose national government in an upload help him. I'm sing out long donor agencies help me build him this very important strategic bridge by connecting Vanimo and Green River LLG.
The Waradio Bridge was built in 1992 by the Australian and PNG Defence Force. Shamin Poreambeb, National EMTV News.
Like most rural schools, Bakoidu's elementary and primary schools have been neglected for a long time. Teachers refuse to be posted there due to its location and bad road condition. And while the rest of the children have given up on education, only a few make it out of there. Despite the circumstances, an elementary school was set up by Father Edwin with the aim of providing quality education. Gertrude Gabi with a closer look at quality education in rural Bakoidu.
Mount Carmel Elementary School was established in 2010 by a Carmelite priest, Father Edwin Magbago, while he was serving as the parish priest for St. Michael Catholic Church in Bakoidu. Because some of the students had to travel 10 to 15 kilometers to attend St. Michael Primary School and could not make it to school on rainy days due to bad weather conditions, he decided to meet with the community to build another school for those living far. He was only able to build an elementary school with the help from the community and his Filipino community who live and work in Port Moresby.
We had a plan for putting the school in order that the students will not go walking far away from that village. So I had a meeting with these village people, and then we decided to put a school in that particular place in Bako. So the planning and then came out, the people helping, just cutting the tree in order to have slowly a school classroom. So I was the one giving a challenge to them that we have to put this school for the sake of our children's future also. And in that case, it's really hard, but I post them until such moment that they came to realize that education for the children are very important.
The school not only assisted by shortening the distance, they also grounded the students well at a young age to speak and write better English.
Letter K. Sound.
Their teachers, Elizabeth, Ida, and Francis Vili encouraged the students and parents to speak in English regularly.
The people longing their children to come there because the first is the determination of the teachers to teach. The second, the way the teacher is teaching is really good, relating based upon the culture, based upon the modules that being given by our education. At the same time, not only that one, the teachers also really happy because the community really helping them.
We try to give quality education. That's why when the parents see the children, especially the ones from here growing into grade 3, they find that the children from our area going up to grade 3, they perform better than the ones from the other elementary schools coming in. That's why they send their children down this way. So that's why we are trying our very best to perform.
What's the word? Leg.
Mi pla mas lo looking for teachers. Na teachers belum mi pla our teaching pikinini na all surrounding areas belum mi pla lo ya. Mas lo all lo teaching ones beginning lo semi mas lo how they read and write and how they speak. Some of them when they go up to Bakoidu primary, out of those primary school when they speak English, it's a bit fine in them. Those are at the primary level.
First sound in the word pig. Yes. And what is the last sound?
This then encouraged parents living near St. Michael Elementary to send their younger children to Mount Carmel Elementary School. Students continuing on to St. Michael Primary perform better. However, parents do not want their children to continue on to St. Michael Primary School and are hoping that Mount Carmel Elementary will expand into a primary school. The pioneers of Mount Carmel are currently doing their Year 10 at Sacred Heart Secondary School in Sapini.
Tintin belum plan osem. Ogeta family community tintin belum plan osem. Plan like him school belum plan by extend go big plan community na behind by go primary school too. Ogeta family community concern belum plan osem. Mi plan like him government services school belum plan too. Mi plan yet community sanapim disla school. Mplay at Katim post na sanapim school na now school emoklo buruk down. Na nogat gaman look savelo mipla like tintin blo mipla gaman helping mipla na school blo mipla change em by good pla. Mipla will get by hamamas.
PIG.
This is Mount Carmel Elementary School. Students from ages between 6 to 9 from different wards of Kuni LLG travel in from about 5 to 10 kilometers to attend school here. As far as it may seem, the parents are determined to send their children here because of how well the students in the school are taught and well grounded in the early ages of learning.
And Chukai Sports is next. Details after the break.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome to Chukai Sports. After bad weather halted competition last week Sunday, the Bisini Diamonds came alive to the sound of softball today. The competition has been progressing well, with teams showing some form. With 4 weeks of competition remaining, it's a race for home base.
The Port Moresby Men's Softball Association swung into action this week after a bye last Sunday due to bad weather. After a week's rest, week 6 of the competition progressed well at the Bicini Diamonds today.
Today we had the first game for today was Mariners versus Defence. As expected, Defence won the game. Mariners still learning, so it's their first year in A grade. So currently the second game of the day is, as we can see, it's Jets and Gazelle. Tight game expected.
It was a good turnout by teams in the competition, with the main matches in the afternoon the highlights of the day.
A pretty strong game, Bears and Brothers. So our Brothers have had inadvertently had 2 weeks off because of the bad weather last week. So hopefully they come back with a lot of rest and regrouped in the last 2 weeks. Tough game. The best game for today is derby between Power and Brown Eagles. Both teams are originate from Matupit, so that should be a good derby game. And the last game of the day, Stingers and Kikela Cats. Stingers trying to find their form, and Kikela Cats have found some form, so we'll see if they can continue with their winning ways.
Fidelis Sukina, Trukai Sports.
Since the beginning of the season proper, the TBL Kuriu Amateur Volleyball Association has generated interest from within Hanuabada village and beyond. The competition started for villages in Elevala with Game 4 matches of Round 1 yesterday.
With matches of the TBL Kuriu Amateur Volleyball Association in full swing, interest from within the village has grown, as people from the wider community have been encouraged and motivated by the initiative shown by competition organizers, illustrating the value and importance of community-based organizations in fostering engagement amongst people.
We actually having our neighboring clans, showing interest to join our competition. So that's something for us to decide, but we haven't actually come to a decision as yet. But yeah, that's something to think about. Yeah, we have in total about 12 teams, break up into 4 divisions. So we have three teams in each division.
Another aim of the association is to promote the code of volleyball within the greater village of Hanuabada, creating a more competitive volleyball scene, ultimately strengthening the code of volleyball and allowing potential talents to be exposed.
We like to see the competition grow, so that's probably one of our main aims in this whole competition. But again, we actually like to get all our communities involved in this competition, and I think that's one way forward to doing that. Yeah, we had so many associations trying to play a game of volleyball, and so one of those came forward to us, inviting us to play a social match with them, and they were kind enough to come and play with us and give us a donation, a kind donation, just to support our association.
Mayor again expressed his gratitude to the PNG Volleyball Association President, Edward Icey, for the donation of volleyball equipment, greatly assisting the association towards the running of the competition. Huxley Lovai, Trukai Sports.
And that story wraps up Trukai Sports. The weather details after the break.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
I'll look at the weather forecast for this afternoon and tonight. In the southern region, mostly fine, though partly cloudy in Port Moresby. Mostly cloudy with patchy showers possible in Daru. Mostly fine weather in Kirima and Alotau. And mostly cloudy with some rain showers in Popondita. In the Momasa region, fine weather, apart from some cloudy periods with a shower or 2 in Leh. Mostly cloudy with chance of a few showers in Midang, and mostly cloudy with a chance of a shower or 2 in Wewak and Vanimore. In the New Guinea Islands region, mostly fine weather, though partly cloudy with a chance of a light shower or 2 in Lorengau, KBN, Kokopora, Bao and Buka. and cloudy with some rain showers in Kimbe. And in the Highlands region, mostly cloudy with afternoon rain showers in Mount Hagen, Mendi and Wabeg, and partly cloudy with a chance of afternoon showers in Goroka and Kundiawa. There is a renewal strong wind warning for all coastal waters of southern PNG Indonesian border through Torres Strait and Daru to Hood Point and Finschhafen, including Vitiaz and Dampier Straits and the Coral Sea. Strong west to northwest winds of 25 to 34 knots with gusts reaching 48 knots will continue for the next 24 hours, causing rough seas. All small crafts and boats are advised to take necessary precaution before going out to sea, especially over the warning areas. Forecast for small crafts for the next 24 hours. Waters of southern PNG Indonesian border through Torres Strait to Daru to Kiwai Islands and Kerema, Yule Island, Hood Point and Aroma Coast to Samurai Island, with waters of Finschhafen through Vitiaz and Dampier Straits and to CRC and Long Islands, seas of 0.1 to 2 meters. Waters of eastern and western Milne Bay Islands, with waters of Samurai Island and East Cape to Cape Vogel through Huengau to Finschhafen, and with waters of Long Island to Karkar Island, Wewak to Aitape and the northern PNG Indonesian border, including waters of Manus and its western group of islands, and waters of New Ireland to Bougainville, and including waters of East and West New Britain, seas of 0.5 to 1.5 meters. A look at the ocean forecast for PNG areas in the Coral Sea. Seas rough with west to northwest winds at 25 to 33 knots. In the Solomon Sea, seas rough to moderate with northwesterly winds at 10 to 20 knots. In the Bismarck Sea, seas slight to moderate with northwesterly winds at 10 to 20 knots. And in the Pacific Ocean, seas slight to moderate with northeasterly winds at 10 to 20 knots.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by Moniplus, with you always.
And that's been the news, sport and weather for today, Sunday, the 7th of February 2021. On behalf of the news team, pleasant viewing. Have a safe working week. Bye for now.